Alright guys, it's over. There's no way it can't be over. When we thought that Kamala really would pull to the center, I really thought she was going to look towards Beshear or Shapiro or some of these ones who could be in volatility states where they could pull the vote. Maybe even a never Trump Republican. I was thinking that could kind of harm us. But she did the exact opposite and went even more left than what some of her positions are. So she's quote unquote looking like the centrist, the moderate. That is absolutely crazy. Trump's game plan should be basically finalizing the next few weeks and months and trying to stay away from crazy controversies, do well in the debate, and this should be won easily. Let's talk about some of the reasons. We're going to talk about the VP, and we're going to talk about what we should do with the third-party candidates. People like Kennedy, what should we do? Again, this should be over, especially after she picked Walz. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to our channel, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. Again, this is opinionated, but I do believe we're at a very, very strong point when it comes to the selection of the VP on the DNC side. Now, the news media will tell you that it's hyping it up and it's also going to be the best DNC ever, and that the Kamala phenomenon is just rolling strong. Well, she's had 2 or 3 interviews that have been completely cringy. Like sound snippets, not really full interviews. She gets up yesterday and introduces Walz, and it's just the most the most cringy, political, over exuberant announcement where she says good evening like 12 times, and this man is like smiling and cackling just like she is. And it's sad that we've got to the nation where we're almost like comatose that we believe this could be the leaders of our free country. Now, this is the same guy who changed out the Minnesota flag and pushed the narrative. He wanted more of a Somali-based flag. Go back and look at the Somali-based flag and now look at the Minnesota flag. This is also the guy who had the riots in 2020 that pretty much said they could do what they want to do. We're going to lock you in, can't have seeds, can't have life, but they can riot because that's normalcy. Those cities are still in ruin. This is the guy who is called is named for a tampon because the man is literally the one who wanted to change the bathrooms up. This is that guy, the guy who is even more left and liberal than what Kamala is. A known socialist. He talked about how your neighbor could be a socialist and that could be a good thing. This guy is a left liberal person who probably makes Kamala look even more center. Now, here's why I say it's over. Trump, even though had a better economy, even though everything should be swinging his way, I think still has a part of the audience and a part of the elector that does not like him. They don't like his bombasticness. They want a smooth politician. They want someone to, I guess lie to him. I don't know. But the bottom line is they think he's a little too bombastic or a little too shrewd. I kind of like that in a politician because other than that, you get cringiness, kind of like what you see with Kamala and even on the Republican side. I mean, the Bushes, the McConnells. You get that politician, that sleazy politician. So I think that's kind of nice to have with Vivek or even with Trump. But I thought, well, Kamala's already left us enough. They're going to pull a Midwestern. So I thought it was going to be a Midwestern state. But they're going to pull somebody kind of like Clinton did, a Kane, Beshear from Kentucky, Shapiro, because he still, even though they're, they have the Muslim base and all that, they want that Jewish base too. I really thought Shapiro would have been the guy. They wanted Pennsylvania. He's very popular there. I don't like Shapiro, but to be honest with you, I really thought that was going to be the choice. I really thought Beshear was going to be in the running. I think Buttigieg was out because, again, he's a leftist guy just like this one. So I kind of said Walz, Buttigieg, all those guys will be out. Boy, I was wrong because they picked a leftist over a centrist. Now, a centrist to us is not what, again, Shapiro and all of them are very left. But when it comes to the Democratic side, they tend to be a little bit more centrist. I actually thought, well, she may even come back to Manchin. I mean, really get the party pulling back to where it kind of coalesces and just beats Trump. I thought that was really going to be the play. That is not the play. The play is to take this party to like straight up socialism, communism. Now you have to remember, this is in Kamala's roots. Go back to her lineage, communism is there. But this guy has also talked about how, you know, the socialist and the communist movement is not a bad thing. He comes from a very leftist state that pushes a lot of overregulation by a state to push. This man is that guy. Before we go any further, a word from our sponsor of today. You know, you want to keep your family safe and how physically you want to protect them. Well, in a world that we're so involved with technology and the virtual living, we have to keep ourselves safe online. And that's why the sponsor of today's video is so important. The thing about when you go online, you're searching and you're unprotected. Data brokers. Data brokers are getting all your information. So how safe is your name? How safe is your bank account? How safe is your social security number? Things that we have held so tightly to. As much as we want to protect our home, now that we live in such a virtual world, we need to protect our asset, which is ourself. What if all of a sudden someone borrows money in your name or uses your phone number, your social security to get compromising information of you or your medical history? That's why Incogni is so important. Incogni goes right beside you. Instead of you trying to get your information back and trying to keep your information safe, they go and they start doing it. And they start taking your information, getting your information back from these data brokers. From year to year, there's been a 72% uptick from 23 to 24, basically showing that data breaches are so common. So what Incogni does is they come alongside you and they start going to these data brokers, they start going to these companies that had bought your information, that has stole your information, and they start getting your information back, erasing it off these databases where that way you know you're safe when you're online. You don't know why you get that spam and those robocalls and all that information in your inbox or email showing that you're approved for all these loans. That's data brokers. Why don't we get on the offensive? Use Incogni to get your information back. Incogni has plans for you individually or family plans. I want to make sure that each one of my children, my spouse, when they're on their devices or they're on their computers, that their information is not being compromised. I actually looked back on some of the data information that I had found, and they had my siblings' information from my name. They had my phone number from my parents from 20 years ago. This is where Incogni comes beside you and they work for you. Don't be vulnerable online. Take back your security, take back your personal information. Use the code THEMAX and you will save an additional 60% off your annual plan. Go to incogni.com/themax. When I lock my doors, I'm physically safe. When I lock my windows, I'm physically safe. With our technology, I want to be just as safe. Let Incogni come beside you. Keep your information your information. So this is why I say it's over, because Trump now could simply play to the unity side. This is where, again, I tell him, I'm not a strategist, I'm not an advisor, no one's reaching out to me. But if I was him, this would be my biggest play for people like the Manchins, the RFKs, it would be the Tulsis. It would be that play to say, look, I know we don't get along. I know you have totally different views than me. I know that. But I'm trying to build a stronger America, and you know that you want a secure America for your children and for your families. Let's do it together. Kennedy is done. I mean, he's fighting accusations of eating, bear and goat and dog, and I mean, it's over for him. I think he's fighting battles that are keeping him in the fray where he can't really talk about things. I think he had a play to do 9 or 10%. But think how much he could do if he joins with Trump and becomes a major player in his cabinet. He could do way more than just being a third-party operative. He is not going to win. Now, at the most, he may get 10 to 15. I don't think he'll even get Ross Perot numbers of 20%. Especially because now the Democrats are just like coalescing around Kamala. Now, if Biden was still in, I believe Kennedy had a shot to really do some damage. But I don't think that's going to happen now. So the best play for Kennedy is to join Trump. The best play for Trump is to coerce Kennedy and Tulsi and even Manchin. Go talk to Manchin. Even though Manchin is a left person, he's a Democrat. That's the kind of people that Trump should try to pull in. Not to change Trump's views on things, but to say, look, we have our hand up for the Overton window. We have our hand up to give you a place for right now. vote for us to at least get some stability. I mean, look, our economy's falling to pieces. We're chances of war. And this is the only person saying that he does not want more war, more funding, and he does not want to see our economy tank. And that should bring a lot more people to the table. Now, does that mean he needs to leave the conservative? Absolutely not. The conservative is his base, and that's the one who got him to where he's at. But I do believe he can easily play to that center and try to pull some more votes in to where you can really hit on the fact of not character with Walz or with Kamala, but hit on their policies. Minneapolis, Minnesota during 2020, hit on that. Show the fiery flames of all these buildings burning and upside down flags and how they were literally destroying that city. Show the fact that you changed the flag to represent only a small minority population in Minnesota. Show those things. Talk about the bathroom bill and who his main advisor was for the bathroom bill. Have you looked at who his main advisor was for the bathroom bill? Go check him out. It'd surprise you. So this guy leans very, very much left. This is actually the best news Trump could have got, to me, versus what it could have been if they would have pulled to the center. So now as they go extremely left, this is where Trump, he's doing an interview with Elon, which is huge. I think he needs to go and do a big interview with Rogan. He just did one with Aiden, which were some big streamers. If he wants to grab that Gen Z, that centrist, that more nuanced appeal to not just a typical politician and doing Fox News and MSNBC, he needs to go and he needs to keep doing these streams. So I challenge him. Do Elon Musk, do this interview. Sit down with Joe Rogan, sit down with PBD, sit down with Tucker Carlson again, and do so many long style interviews. He did all them podcasts, which some of those guys are not completely Trump supporters. He needs to keep doing that along with going on some of these streamer platforms, making sure he doesn't get embarrassed or something crazy happens. But I think that plays to where he's just a normal guy trying to be more appealing to more people, because Kamala's not going to do any of those. Did you see her off script? At the tarmac, off script, in the red chair, talking about the woke thing. Those snippets were the most terrible snippets there are, and it's because they were both unscripted. This lady cannot go off script. I mean, it's kind of like yesterday. Did you not see Walz like shake his wife's hand? Who shakes their wife's hand? It's just so political. They're all so political. They're all hacks. And that is not what makes America, America. America needs strong stability, security, and realism. And again, is Trump all those things? Is he the perfect candidate? No. But what he does do is he brings some normalcy and some common sense back to the office of presidency. The Democrats have, they have wavered way off course. And I'll be honest with you, Republicans are way off too. And I think that's why this movement, almost kind of like the Tea Party consensus, but the Make America Great movement, is actually doing something, because it's making a new style base that could be the start of a good populist movement to say American needs to be America again. It needs to be the shining light, the city on a hill, and needs to focus back on our own shores more than anything. That's one thing we should get out of this movement with Trump, is America needs to be thinking about America, not 15 other countries and losing our funding because we're supporting them. That's what the old guard of Republicans wanted. That's what, of course, the Democrats still want. So why don't we change some things? That's why I say it's over. If I was Trump, I would be the art of the deal, just like he wrote in the book. I would be the best negotiator. I'd be talking to the center, I'd be talking to the conservatives, and we would make a coalition that would beat all coalitions. It would be huge. As he says, huge. It would be huge. And it'd be the greatest thing, like he always says, the greatest. It would literally be the greatest cabinet. I would bring in the libertarians such as the Thomas Masseys, the Ron Pauls, the Viveks. They would be the ones setting treasury policies, monetary policies, getting back to a gold standard. They would be the ones to set policy on how to look at freedoms when it comes to 2A rights. Then I'd look for people like the RFKs to say, hey, look, you want to go after someone? Have at it. Go after health and human services. Change the way they look at things. Energy, let's talk about energy. Let's do some new things, but let's don't forget about how America has made it for so long when it's drilling and it's building new innovations to make sure that our people have low energy cost. He could do this and change America for the best if he builds this coalition. Because you have two people who are so unliked, who are so unpopular, who are the most cringy politicians ever. If the Republicans or conservatives or Trump loses this election, it will be because there has been some funny business go on. You cannot tell me two people who have not got any votes on the national stage, not 1 simple percent by Kamala when she was running in 2016, not 1 delegated vote, like as in true American vote, the last 2 elections, and she got basically a coordination to be the puppet, the leader of the Democrat Party. And Walz, again, even more left. They got the old white man from the Midwest, but he is not a centrist or even just a regular Democrat. He is so far left. We need to pay attention to this, because what we're seeing is if these two win, conservatives can never win again, because there will be some funny business. Trump should win in a landslide, and if I was him, again, I'd build a coalition, the best, brightest, biggest coalition ever. And it would start off by saying, look, Kennedy, Tulsi, we need to have a conversation. Vivek, Massey, Paul, we need to have a conversation. DeSantis, we need to have a conversation. We need to build the very best coalition possible. And I wouldn't worry about McConnell, wouldn't worry about Kemp, wouldn't worry about Graham. They'll vote for you. But honestly, they're the old guard, and that's the ones that I'd be moving away from. I'd be starting getting new blood into the party and get rid of all these 85-year-old people that's been doing this for 50 years and pretty much hadn't done anything for the American people other than fatten their pockets. I think of the Cornyn's, the Thunes, even my senator, Wicker, all these guys. They're all establishment politicians, and that's exactly what we don't want in Washington. And I hope Trump does the art of the deal. I hope he does some major negotiations, and I hope he says, you know what? It's time to coalesce and build a coalition of unity, and I think we need the independents and give them a home. Even the blue dog Democrats, give them a home, because what just happened on the left went even more left, and they don't have a home anymore. So I'd do the long form podcast, I'd build a unity party, I'd focus on building a coalition of libertarians, independents, and true conservatives, and then populists, of course. And then I would say, we're here to do business and not talk about the character of Kamala or Walz. Talk about policy, because Walz's policies are crazy left, and Kamala has no policies, so therefore you can make a winning argument to beat both of those guys. Guys, give me your thoughts. That's just my thoughts for the day. I honestly believe this could be the easiest election to win if it's a true election. Black swan events, controversies will happen. I believe it's going to happen more than ever. But Trump can easily pull this out if he plays his cards right. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Thank you. God bless.